Welcome back to Crime Chats. Tiny room, microphone, endless crimes.
Yeah. I'm very excited because today we are starting our deep dive into Ted Bundy over like the whole month of June. So the next 4 episodes will be about Ted Bundy. I was gonna call him Ted like he's my friend or something. Nope. Theodore. But anyway, so today is gonna be me talking about like his early life and kind of him before he became him, you know what I mean?
Before he became who we know as Ted Bundy.
Yeah. So anyway, so I'm gonna do that, and then, do we have any announcements first?
We do.
Oh.
Before we get into our deep dive of the month, please remember to like the video, share the video, comment while we're live is the best because we can directly respond
yeah.
to your messages, and it's super cool to be like you're on TV, right? And we get really cool feedback from you guys when you comment, so comment.
Ted Bundy was born Theodore Robert Cowell. He was born on November 24th, 1946, and I have to laugh here because, so when I read that to Hillary, it sounded wrong because it sounded like way too far in the past.
Too long ago, yeah.
Like, I was like, there's no way. Like, I have to be mistaken. He must have been born in, like, the 70s or something. No. He was born in 1946. And it makes sense because he was executed in 89, so, like, 40s, right? But for me, I'm like, what do you mean? Like, that's, like, olden times. So I thought it was wrong, and I had to, like, look it up again, which is why we're, like, a couple minutes late. So I was like, wait, what? I can't believe I got literally the first fact incorrect. Like,
nope,
how stupid, right. But yeah, that's right. So November 24th, 1946, he was born at the Elizabeth Lund Home for Unwed Mothers in Burlington, Vermont. So this was the baby scoop era, so a time of extreme social stigma where unwed mothers were often pressured to relinquish their children for adoption in an atmosphere of secrecy and shame. This is kind of unrelated, but in Australia, there is a cult called the Family, and they were basically just like taking all of the unwanted children that were born to like delinquent moms and pretending that it was their kids, and they were like abusing them and all this stuff. But
anyway, it's gonna be a good happy ending. Like, we're taking them in and loving them because they were unwanted.
No, there's no love there. No love at all. Anyway,
I have a question.
Yes.
About this era. I've never heard of it. And that's not that I know every era. Obviously,
I hadn't really heard of it either.
But in the 40s, when in this time period, clearly we have unwed couples, right, having children all the time, but you have, I don't know, I guess there's this stigma, right, like you said, of you have to be married. It's like first comes marriage, then comes a baby.
Like, it was a no, yeah.
But who was her family? Like, why weren't they taking care of her? You know?
Yeah.
What?
I mean, I feel like it would have been like a shame thing for the mother, but also for the family. Like, that's probably why she was sent to this house for unwed mothers in Vermont, was because like her family was like, oh my god, like my daughter
had sex out of marriage.
Yeah. Oh my god, what a slut, you know.
She's gonna be shamed to the whole family.
Yeah. So Bundy's mother, Eleanor Louise Cowell, initially listed his father as unknown, and rumors even persisted that he was the product of incestuous rape by his own grandfather, Samuel Cowell. To avoid social bastardy, Bundy's grandparents raised him as their own son, and he grew up believing his biological mother was his older sister. And then he only discovered the truth as an adult, likely during his college years when he found his birth certificate in a library. Experts believe this early trauma and identity confusion would have like kind of sowed the seeds for like later stuff. I mean, that must kind of wreak havoc on your psyche.
Well, yeah, you've been lied to about your whole child.
Like, you came from what was considered to be such a shameful thing, and it was just hush hush and covered up, and so like nobody really told you who you were or where you came from. not being sympathetic toward Ted Bundy at all, because
Right.
he was a terrible, vile human being. But like that's gotta mess you up
Well,
finding that out in college. Like
yeah.
you were a kid, and then you were in college now as an adult, and then like you find this out, and you're like, oh my god, my whole childhood was a lie.
Well, and that weirdly, again, I don't do any research on the parts that I'm not in charge of, right, for these episodes. So I don't know any of this deeper knowledge on his upbringing, but knowing that and what I'm going to talk about next week, it makes a lot of sense on his who he targeted victimology wise.
Mm-hmm.
That it's very interesting.
I'm wondering if maybe he like harbored some kind of ill will towards his birth mom, and then so like his victims that he targeted
That's what I'm saying.
probably looked like his mom.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
I don't know what she looked like, but I'm guessing.
Okay. Yeah.
Because almost every single one of
that
his
makes sense to
victims
me.
has very similar physical features.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't know, it just made sense in my brain, which is why I wanted to bring that up.
Right.
I wonder if, and I mean, yeah, that it would make sense that you would harbor ill will towards her, because like, does this mean she didn't love me? She didn't want me. She abandoned me. You know.
So all young
and I
women
had to grow up
with
my grandparents, which so his grandpa was reportedly like a violent man, like he kind of had a temper, and so that kind of adds to that too. Like, you know, my mom abandoned me, and now I'm living with my grandparents, and my grandpa is abusive, and like screw her for doing this to me. And then he kind of grew up and then had these like murderous things, and then he's like, well, now you look like my mom and I hate my mom, so like I hate you, and whatever. But anyway, we're getting way too far ahead of ourselves. But anyway, so
and I'm so sorry to interrupt already. But also thinking of, you know, the aggressive or violent father figure, you know, of that time, unfortunately, that's not uncommon.
Yeah.
To be accepted from the patriarch of the family, because you got to keep them in line, and that's just normal, and it's not abuse, it's parenting. So
discipline.
Unfortunately, that was a very common, and sometimes today still is, a very common mindset from a parent, usually male, man, dad.
Yeah, and I mean, especially you're talking like 40s, you know, it's not like today.
Right.
It's, yeah. So back then it would have been even more like,
right.
It would have been
normal.
Fine, normal. Like it,
expected,
you know, had he told his teachers like, my grandpa hit me, like they've been like, well, what did you do?
Right.
You know,
what?
Like,
yeah, and
yeah, okay, go sit down. Like that's a funny story, Teddy, but you know,
90% of the kids in here probably got beaten yesterday because they whatever.
Yeah.
Disobeyed their parents.
Yeah. They spoke during dinner or something like that. So when Ted was about 4 years old, his mother moved to Washington State and later married Johnny Culpeper Bundy, an army cook. After the marriage, Johnny adopted Ted, and Ted took his stepfather's surname, becoming Theodore Robert Bundy. So that's where Bundy came from. That was another thing I didn't know, was because, you know, you hear Ted Bundy, you think that's been his last name forever. But then looked it up and I was like, well, who's Cowell? And then I like looked further and I was like, oh, okay. Just stepdad.
That was his name, yeah.
I mean, especially, he would have had his mom's last name because she put like unknown as his father on the birth certificate anyway, so that makes sense.
I'm also really curious now if we could dig and find out who his biological father was.
Probably.
Again, not trying to dismiss any of his actions, but some things are genealogical.
Yeah, that makes me think, like, who was his dad? Did his dad do anything?
Like, did he suffer from psychosis or from bipolar, or who knows? Again, not dismissing any of his actions, but it helps you understand the criminal when you know where they come from.
Yeah, I find that so fascinating, like criminology and like just getting into the minds of these killers. My favorite show, or one of my favorite shows, is Criminal Minds, because I just love just all of that.
It's fascinating, yeah.
While Bundy later described his childhood as average, records suggest a much more volatile environment. So, like I mentioned, his grandfather, Samuel Cowell, was notoriously violent, and he abused animals, beat his children, and harbored racist and misogynistic views. And, I mean, we all know that abusing animals is like one of the precursors.
Number one,
like,
yeah.
That's the thing you look for when you're trying to decide if somebody's a psychopath. Like,
Serial
do they
killer,
hurt
yeah.
innocent animals? So, despite this, young Ted respected and clung to Samuel as a role model, possibly because he was the only strongman figure in his early life. Which, I mean, that's true. Like, I'm gonna get on a soapbox about something, but like I feel like in this time and current year, 2026, like it's all about like, oh yeah, well, you know, it like the nuclear family is somehow like has been seen as like bad because oh mom can be strong and independent and mom and dad and whatever, but like a father figure is really important, I feel like, to kids. And like if his grandpa was the only male that was there and seemed like a strong dude, if he was the only one, then it makes sense that Ted kind of clung to that regardless of the abuse.
Well, and on that, you know, being in the foster care community, I see atrocious parenting all the time, and those kids still want to go back home. They still want their parents. They still love them. It's still mom and dad, regardless of what they do to these children. And in that, it's still mom and dad, you know? And so I think along these lines, if he was better than grandpa, that tells you something about grandpa. But of course, you're going to cling to the parental figures in your life as mom and dad. And those are the people you should trust and should love and should want safe, good, wonderful things for you. So,
and if you're growing up with that, you're not gonna like, I mean, it's not like young Theodore was like, oh my god, he's so abusive, like he's a terrible dude. Like that was just how it was.
It's normal.
And it's normal for him. So that's gonna shape his view growing up, and that's what he's gonna learn and things like that. So just he didn't really get a good start. It wasn't a very good start for Mr. Bundy. Right. There were some early warning signs with with Theodore Bundy. So at the age of only 3 years old, he reportedly placed knives around his sleeping aunt's body, and then when she woke up, he was just smiling at her.
Okay.
Which, like, what? Kids are so creepy by themselves without that, right? But like, I mean, if I woke up and like Lily had placed knives around my body, I would leave the house. I would run far away, or I would take Lily and be like, hey, let's go visit the fire station. Oh, I'm just kidding. That's awful. But you know, I don't know. Just that's creepy at 3 years old. Like you're barely talking and walking and like learning how to whatever. Like, I mean,
you know,
how do you even know? How can you even access knives?
I was just thinking how to get the knives,
collect knives, and place them. Like,
who's watching the child?
Oh my god, I would run away. I'd run away. I'd be like, dude, this is your house now.
Exactly.
Here's the keys to the kingdom. I'm out.
Good luck.
Yeah, good luck to you. Maybe tell a neighbor if I was feeling generous, like, hey, there's a 3-year-old over there, but don't get stabbed. And then I would just be
keep your distance.
Yeah. By age 15, he was a peeping Tom and an expert shoplifter, developing a belief that he could outwit authority figures. Which, again, if you grow up with people that are very nice, like, you're not gonna grow up to be very nice. Like, you know, you don't know any other way to be, and so you have all of these emotional things going on already. You know, you're not gonna have respect for authority. You're not gonna follow the rules. The
rules don't apply to you.
Yeah,
of course not.
And Hillary wanted you to kind of mention that the girl when he was 14. I wanted you to kind of go into that too.
Right. So, in my research for episode 2 next week of our deep dive on Bundy, I found there is a girl by the name of Anne Marie Burr, who was 8 years old, who went missing when Bundy was 14, and they were neighbors? ? And this girl, Anne Marie, her body has never been found, according to the source that I was getting my information from. But almost everybody who has done any kind of research on Bundy, his, the prosecution at the time, all these lawyers and everything believe that Anne Marie Burr was his first victim, but he never, I guess he never will because he's dead, but he never confessed to her death or doing anything involving her.
I mentioned that, like, Bundy would never admit to harming children. I mean, he'll, on his right before he was executed, which we'll get into this in the last episode, but he's confessing to all these murders, trying to get himself, like, not injected or whatever, but that's, like, there's also later, I think his last victim was, like, a 12-year-old girl, but he never admitted to that either, because again, child, like,
that crosses a line.
Like, that's a bridge too far. Like, I'll kill as many women as I want to, but, like, kids, like, anyway, so getting back into the beginning, I feel like with Bundy it's so easy to, like, jump ahead, but anyway, I'm gonna try really hard to go back. Okay, so Bundy's academic journey was a key tool in his career as a serial killer, allowing him to blend into campus life undetected. He attended the University of Puget Sound and the University of Washington, eventually graduating with honors in psychology in 1972. His studies gave him insight into human vulnerabilities, so he would later use that, like his ploy with the fake cast on his arm, stuff like that. So really, that's like, he's basically just learning all the things that he needs in order to enact his wicked fantasies later, which is creepy. So after high school, Bundy attended the University of Puget Sound for about a year, and then he transferred to the University of Washington. While he was at the University of Washington, there was a girl, actually by the name of Diane Edwards, that he dated. So it was a pseudonym used in early Ted Bundy books and media to protect the identity of his college girlfriend. So they named her Stephanie Brooks, but her real name was Diane Edwards. Diane met Bundy while they were students at the University of Washington in 1967. She came from a wealthier California family and reportedly became frustrated with Bundy's lack of direction, dropping out of school and working low-paying jobs. She ended the relationship in 1968. How dare you break up with Ted? So years later, after Bundy had returned to college, became involved in politics and been accepted to law school, he rekindled the relationship with Diane, and she was impressed by how much he appeared to have changed, and the two even discussed marriage. Then in early 1974, Bundy abruptly cut off all contact with her. When she finally reached him and demanded an explanation, he reportedly replied, "Diane, I have no idea what you mean," and hung up. She never heard from him again. So people think that this was like, he was getting back at her for breaking up with him earlier. So like this whole this whole rekindling of the romance was his, like, I'm gonna get you
revenge
now, like, the fuck, like, get over yourself. I know you can't do that because you're a
narcissist,
but anyway, so many Bundy biographers believe the second courtship was an act of revenge, like we just said, for the humiliation he felt when she rejected him years earlier. However, the popular claim that Diane directly caused Bundy to become a serial killer is considered an oversimplification by most serious researchers. So, like, that wasn't the only thing that caused him to, like, there was a whole, like we talked about, like, his whole upbringing kind of was, like, if there was a manual on how to make a serial killer, like, he kind of hit all the bases there. So, in 1972, he earned his degree in psychology with honors. So that's...
And he was in Washington?
University of Washington. So in 1973, Bundy applied to several law schools. His LSAT scores were reportedly not especially strong, but he received influential letters of recommendation from professors and political contacts because he was a sociable guy, and he was, I think, and I said in my last episode about Andrea Yates, I hate to say Bundy is my favorite serial killer, but I don't really know another word. He's the one that I find most fascinating and that I like to research the most, is because of he looked like a normal guy and he was sociable and people liked him. That kind of creeps me out the most. And I feel like I want to know everything about the things that scare me, and so, like, that part of Ted Bundy, and so he's the one that I come back to, and again, I'll watch all the documentaries about Ted Bundy that they put out, because I'm just like, oh my god. So he got the letters, and then he was accepted to both the law school at the University of Puget Sound and the University of Utah. Bundy began law school at the University of Puget Sound in Tacoma in September of 1973. However, he was not considered a standout student. Classmates later described him as struggling academically and seeming less engaged than his polished public image suggested. So he wasn't that smart of a dude.
Not book smart.
Not book smart, but he liked to play smart, which is another kind of thing that I'll get into in later episodes as well. Is like he wanted to like help investigations and like all that kind of stuff because he was like, look how smart I am, blah blah. But like narcissist, right? I mean, I'm the best and I'm so smart and look at me, you know. This period overlaps with the beginning of his known murder spree in Washington. Several investigators and biographers believe his criminal activities increasingly consumed his time and attention. So maybe this is why he wasn't so focused on schooling.
I can't focus on my schoolwork. I have too many women to murder.
Oh my god, I have too many murders on my schedule. Like, there's just, like, I don't even have time for lunch. How am I supposed to study for class? Like, anyway. But again, I'm not really getting into any of the murders in this episode. In August of 1974, Bundy moved to Salt Lake City and enrolled at the University of Utah Law School. He never completed the program. His grades deteriorated, he frequently missed classes, and he was reportedly more interested in pursuing women and maintaining his public image than studying the law, which is creepy.
It is creepy. That's
Very
a good word.
creepy. So in 1969, Bundy began a 6-year relationship with Elizabeth Kendall, a single mom struggling with alcoholism. Elizabeth Klopfer was her legal surname from a previous marriage, so I guess in the research I saw both last names and I was curious, but yeah, Klopfer was from a previous marriage and Kendall is her maiden name, I guess. Elizabeth had a daughter, Molly, and Ted was an integrated part of their family unit, so he was the man who taught Molly how to ride a bike. Elizabeth lived in a state of cognitive dissonance, oscillating between her love for the nice guy, Ted, and the terrifying realization that he matched the police sketches of the killer. So,
which I'll get into next week.
Yeah, we'll get into that. But the fact that he was able to woo a woman and like be a dad to her daughter, teaching her to ride a bike, like that's such a fatherly, loving thing to do. And then on the side, be brutally murdering women. Yeah, it's so insane. And so there's on Amazon, the documentary is Falling for a Serial Killer. It's amazing because it interviews Elizabeth, but also interviews Molly. And so they both like talk about it. And Molly loved him. You know, like he was the dad. Terrifying. I'm going to share this fact. And I know that this has to do with murder, but it's a quick fun
we don't talk about murder on this podcast.
It's just a quick I know I'm supposed to be talking about before, but it's a fun fact that I learned. I wanted to share it because it's such a fun fact. It's so fun. Molly came home from school one day and Ted is in the living room and he's by the fireplace and he's kind of like he has something in the fireplace pushing it around. Turns out that was the skull of his first victim. And Molly walked in on him trying to burn it. So there's something wrong with me in my head, I feel like, because a long time ago I met Melting Pot with my husband Paul, and the bartender, there's like a true crime documentary on the TV behind the bartender, and I was like, oh my god, I love true crime. And I had just learned that fact about the skull, and the bartender says to me, oh, I love true crime too. And so I was like, guess what? Plug. I was like, I have a fun fact for you, which I don't know what's wrong with me. I really don't at all. We belong in this community. It's okay. But anyway, I shared that fact and she just stared at me. And so I took my drink and I like walked my happy ass to our table. I was like, okay, bye. I won't ever talk to you again, I promise. Like, when you tell me you're a fan of true crime, like, make sure you tell me that you're, like, casually What level? Yeah, what level? Like, are you, like, gonna find it interesting that Ted Bundy was burning a skull? Or, like, are you gonna just run away screaming? Yeah, or is that too much? Yeah. Is that too much? So, stranger? I don't know how to talk to adults anymore because my kids are 5 and almost 7. We don't tell them about murder, so. Yeah. because that would be inappropriate. But when she's an adult, we can get all of
Totally
it.
different story. Fun fact, I don't know if I've ever told you this. When I was in first grade, we had those like it was probably around Mother's Day, all about mom. It had to be. It had to be. My mom got a very concerning phone call.
Uh-oh.
And she had to come in for a parent conference.
Uh-oh.
I am the sweetest person alive, by the way.
She really is.
And, I was making a joke, but thank you. And as a kid, I was very demure and just kind of kept myself and quiet and all this kind of thing. So to have a parent conference on something I did in first grade was like, what? Anyway, so there was this like little paper. I wish we had it. Because it was like, my mom's favorite color is this. My mom works here, and my mom does this, and my mom likes. And on the my mom likes, I put murder because
what had happened was
she used to watch Murder, She Wrote.
Oh.
Dick Van Dyke, old school,
okay,
fun entertainment
okay,
crime
I can
shows,
see
right?
that.
And so
there's murder in the show name. I mean, she likes a show called Murder. I get it.
And I don't know why I knew how to spell murder in first grade, but I did. And that's probably all that fit on the line, right? I was probably supposed to put me. My mom loved me. It was probably what they were expecting, but I put my mom loves murder. And so they get a phone call from poor old Miss Besley, and she comes in and my mom's like,
we saw something.
and I'm just like, Mom likes murder.
Oh my God.
So be careful, parents, about what you watch
Oh my God.
around your kids. Make sure they know the full titles if they're watching it with you.
Holly thinks that I'm 21 years old, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm 60 pounds.
Emaciated.
Yeah, I'm like a skeleton.
Mm-hmm.
And she also says that my job is to stay home.
Yes.
So I'm like, okay, one out of 3 ain't bad. I'll take it. Moving on from that. So basically, Ted is this really social. He is
charismatic
guy. Charming. So he's a very charming guy. He has this long-term girlfriend. He's a father figure to her daughter. He's teaching her to ride a bike. They love him. Like, he's got all these friends. Just, it's insane. The juxtaposition between the Ted that everyone saw and knew, and then like what he was capable of. Like, it's insane. Like, brains are crazy. Like, the human brain. The fact that you can be one thing and then like the complete polar opposite at the same time.
The thing
like,
is,
the same brain.
Most people can't.
Yeah.
And that's good. But also, I do believe we have masks, I guess, that we wear.
Yeah.
Like at home, Hillary, and at work, Hillary, and I don't know, at the club, Hillary. I don't go to the club, but like party, Hillary.
Yeah.
Whatever. Anyways, it's not a story for right now. It's not a completely different Hillary.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a little bit different vibes of Hillary. It's still me.
Yeah.
Whereas this is like, I am a different identity situation.
Yeah, it's like complete. Yeah, it's just.
That's
insane.
not a normal person thing.
It's insane to me, and it's very fascinating. Cause I mean, like I made Paul laugh last night because I was talking about this, and I said, because if Dahmer or Gacy or Gein like walked up to me on the street, I would run away, right? Because I would be like, ugh. This is not whatever.
Yes.
Like, if Ted Bundy walked up to me and I like, and it was back then, I'd be like, hey, what's that? If he wanted to talk to me, like, he's just a dude. Like, cool. Like, oh, you want me to help you with your car and you have a broken arm? Sure. Like, I kind of understand now that one girl, like, how she was able to, because again, like, if Dahmer walked up to me, I would run in the other direction because he looked gross and he just had like a creepy way about him.
Yeah.
But in the case of Bundy, he looked charming. Like, he looked like someone I'd want to talk to almost. You know? And like I'm not gonna say that he's like, oh my God, he was so attractive, right? But like, I feel like back then girls were probably looking at him like, hey, who's this guy? Like, he looks cute, right? So I mean, yeah. And I mean, I feel like you're like, your guard would be down more if it's like an attractive guy that's talkative and sociable and being nice and funny and smart, you know, or at least makes it seem like he's smart. So just, I don't know. It's just, that's what's so fascinating for me.
Yeah.
Is like how.
Well, and one of the terms I used in my notes, you know, as I was doing my research for next week's episode, was how he's like a chameleon manipulator. Like he can change to fit the situation best, like what he needs to be for the court case, what he needs to be for, you know, a hurt victim to lure his victims in, what he needs, you know, whatever, what he needs to be the dad, you know, what he needs to be the dad.
So it isn't even necessarily that he's got these two polar opposite sides of his brain. He just has the one psychopath brain. But with that psychopath brain comes the ability to transform himself into whatever people need him to be. It's just,
and I think what helped a lot with that was his background in psychology. Yeah. Going to law school and getting the psych background.
He took like how to commit mass murder 101.
Well, not only that though, he could read body language and like the micro facial expressions and things on people, and I think that helped him adjust his affect.
Yeah, because like, I mean, you can copy people's, like, what they do. You kind of copy what people do, and it makes people, like, more, like, oh, hey.
More comfortable around you.
More comfortable, yeah. And so a psychopath would, like, that's all that they care about is how can I manipulate these people into trusting me, into believing me. Just
scary guy. Scary in how simple he seemed.
Yeah, like, you would never have guessed that he'd be such a violent guy. It's just insane to me that people exist like that. And I mean, again, that's like psychopathy and sociopathy. Those are things you're born with. Like, so we're going back to like a way long time ago. I mentioned this, but like my biggest fear when becoming a mom was that like one of my kids is going to grow up to be a psychopath, because that's just how they're wired. Right. Like, I mean, there's nature and nurture, but I feel like it's largely nature in this, like, there's got to be a ton of roots there first. And then, like, if you don't, or if they grow up badly, like Ted did, that only reinforces the nature that was already there. So, like I said earlier, like, he really didn't have a chance to be any kind of normal human. But yeah, that was I mean, you know, sometimes Lily will say stuff to me and I'm like,
go tell your dad.
Yeah. You can walk away now.
I love you.
I mean, she's obviously not a psychopath. They're sociopath because she has feelings. A lot of them, all the time. But
she's also 6.
But there was that one time. My favorite interaction with her, by the way, was we were at a play date at her best friend's house. She was in, so they were excluding Holly, and Holly was sad, and so like I went up there and I was like, hey, you guys need to include Holly, she's really sad. Lily found a $1 bill on the dresser of her friend's room, and she goes like this, and she looks at me dead ass in the face, and she goes, I'm gonna give you some money and you're gonna walk away. Excuse me? What do you say in that moment? So, like, I'm like, okay, I'm the adult. I'm the mom.
Like, what?
But I did not know. I turned on my heel immediately, and I went to, like, go, like, tell her friend's mom immediately, because I was like, oh my god, what do we do? And then, like, I was scared. I felt hurt, but I was also really impressed. I was almost proud. Like, I was like, what? And it's so funny. My husband, the first thing he said when I told him that was, that's my girl. You can't just offer money to people, leave you alone. But then at the same time, like, I should have snatched the $1 and been like, you got any more? Like, you know, like, okay, like, let's do this. How about 20?
Yeah, and where did she learn that, you know? Who knows?
Yeah, I have no idea where she got that from. But no, Lily is not. She's gonna be fine. I don't foresee any mass murder in her future. Kids. But yeah, but that was my biggest fear, is that I'm like, I'm gonna give birth to a sociopath or a psychopath, and there's not gonna be anything that I can do about it. Because it's so sad, because there isn't anything you could do. There's a bunch of kids that are living in mental institutions because they can't be in society with people in society because they're all they do is cause problems, and they like hurt people and they hurt their parents and whatever, and there's nothing that can be done. And it's really sad.
Teacher in a middle school, I believe of all the thousands of students I have had, in my career, I have come across one psychopath child. And he genuinely scared me to my core.
Oh my God, tell me everything.
I've never told you about him?
No.
I remember telling my, where to say your superior, but like in a school, we were in, at that time I was working at a STEM branch in the public school, in the school I was at. We were like a building on campus, but STEM only. And so my advice, whatever you want to call her, whatever, we'll call her a vice principal. She wasn't, but we'll call her that. The one I answered to or spoke to when I had troubles or whatever, all that kind of stuff. She was wonderful, wonderful person. I told her, I said, if we ever have a school shooter, it's gonna be this boy.
Oh.
He scared the living crap out of me. He would look you dead in the eyes, smile, no emotion on his face, go to fist bump, because we always try to engage the kids, and like when they come in the room, we want to say good morning so and so, hey, high five, fist bump, whatever, some kind of physical positive interaction. He would look you dead in the eyes and hit you as hard as he could to see, and wanted to see your reaction.
Oh my God.
And like, did that hurt? And things like that. So that was just one thing.
Does he have any pets?
Second situation, I was tasked with being his star proctor. He was in my group of kids for star testing.
Goody.
And when he finished, he decided to take the wrapper off of the water bottle he had. He fashioned an AR-15 out of that wrapper and his pencil, and he was silently going around the room, and he found me and made eye contact with me and smiled. And went,
okay, first of all, I'm kind of impressed at how he used just the thing off a water bottle with a pencil. I kind of, I want to know how he did that.
Yeah.
But also, that's creepy as fuck.
Freaking alarming, right?
That's
so
not.
I reported that.
So, hold on. Where are the parents? Who are the parents?
Single mom.
Okay.
He's the youngest.
Okay.
Brothers are in gangs.
No. Okay.
Okay. We're not in a good side of town when I was working there, right? That school was not in a good side of town. That kid scares me.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. Every time I see newsreels of shootings on that side of town, I listen for his name.
Yeah.
And I still get goosebumps when I talk about him, because I know that boy is going to be the reason for something violent in the future. And that makes me very sad.
Yeah, because somebody needs to try to help or do something.
But that is probably the only true case of psychopathy that I've come across in 10 years of teaching middle school, Yeah. I mean, you joke about, oh, he's a psycho, no. When you come across one, it's like a whole different story.
Yeah.
But that kid was a scary, and he was small, and so he used fear to, make himself.
But we probably learned that from his brothers too. I mean, his older brothers are in gangs. The whole point of, I feel like you have to, I'm so scary. Look at me with my gun and my, I'm gonna. But
it's just creepy the way he would stare you down and smile, to see, is it gonna hurt you, kind of thing. You're like, hey, dude, chill.
Yeah, I'd be let's. Not the first time you did that, I'd be like, okay.
Yep.
We're not gonna do that.
Yep. So. That one.
And would he ever try to put on any other sort of affect? Would he pretend to be nice and sweet sometimes?
No.
And it was just.
It was always that creepy dead stare with the big smile, or just dead face.
Just because I'm thinking back to Bundy, he could act and be,
It was all, well, I take that back. He was almost he was trying too hard to be the class clown.
Oh. Okay.
Kind of thing, to be funny.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody was kind of scared of him.
Yeah.
So he didn't really he had one friend who also became part of the gang that his brothers were in. So I'm suspicious that he also is part of the gang as well. Anyways, yeah, I took a turn, but I'm just saying, it's a whole different vibe with kids.
Yeah.
But once you like encounter that, it's like, oh no, you know what what it really is versus what it's like, oh okay,
Yeah, I
they're
mean,
just being kids, kind
that's,
of
I
thing.
feel like with everything mental health, like people
Right.
are so quick to just diagnose people or to name it or be like, I have this or whatever. Like,
Right.
no, like let's just, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not everyone has a severe mental illness. When
Yeah,
like you come across like, okay,
it sticks out
this
big.
is the
Yeah.
real deal. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
That's terrifying.
It is. It is.
I'm sorry you had
Yeah.
to deal with that.
Yep. And
Because, like, that's such a weird spot for you to be in, because, like, you're the teacher. You're supposed to, like, take care of all your kids and love all your kids. But then if one of them scares the crap out of you, like, you're also human. Like, what do you.
Well, and I remember telling that same vice principal, my supervisor, I'm scared of him. And she told me, in the most loving is a weird way. We had a really good relationship, She goes, where should I put him?
Yeah.
Whose class? Whose class can I put him?
Yeah. Because I bet all the other teachers knew of him, too.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, because middle school, we change classes all the time. Mm-hmm. He scared us all.
Yeah.
And you can't put someone in detention for being scary. Like you can't suspend someone for terrifying the living daylights out of you, And so you teach them and you love them and you hope they don't shoot you when they become a school shooter.
Man. Yeah, just be kind.
Yep.
But, like, also, yeah, I can't even imagine being you in that situation. Like,
it was terrifying.
I would not, I'd be calling in sick a lot.
Yeah.
I'd be like, you know what? I just can't today. I don't want to deal with this violent energy today.
But then it was also like, if I'm not there, someone else will be there.
Yeah.
And at least I have a relationship with this child, whatever it is. Like someone's there, he knows me, I know him. I don't know. It was a weird kind of juxtaposition of, I'm terrified of you, but I know you. So I'd rather put myself here than some other person I don't know.
Yeah. And something else you mentioned earlier where he was trying too hard to be the class clown. Mm-hmm. So a lot of these, like, people that are like psychopaths, sociopaths, because it doesn't come naturally to them, it may seem like they're trying too hard, because they're putting on a mask that they're not, and they're not used to it, so it's a little like awkward, and it can come off awkward sometimes, especially with kids. Like, I feel like adults, like Ted Bundy, when he was an adult, he had more experience to draw from.
Smooth. Yeah.
And he could be smoother about it, but like Ted Bundy as a kid was probably the same way. He was probably
I would imagine
it was awkward and weird, and like he didn't really know how to act. But then he'd try to like copy other people, but then he'd try too hard to do that, and then like it came off like just unnatural.
And I'd be curious, with that same boy in my head right now, I'd be curious to know what Ted Bundy's peers as a kid thought of him. Like, I want to know if there's any interviews of those individuals. I'm sure there are, because he's such a notorious.
Yeah, there's stuff in college where everybody, they were saying like he didn't really like seem too interested in studies in class.
College, I'm thinking like kids.
Yeah.
Childhood.
I'm wondering if there's something. I mean, maybe on Pacer.
Hey.
If you guys, would want to subscribe financially, and it's $15 a month, will get you your own mini episodes with lots of just a wealth of information from Pacer.
And you get a uniquely OG Crime Chatters mug, which is different than
no one else gets.
That no one else gets if you are one of our OG subscribers.
Yeah, so think about it. That was a weird segue, but it kind of worked. Anyway.
Wrapping up.
Yeah. All right, well, that is Bundy's early life.
Next week will be The Hunt Begins, which is really revolving around the Washington and Utah murders when Bundy becomes an active serial killer. So I know you talked about his life in Washington, and you touched on...
Yeah, it kind of overlapped his later college
in Utah and
career,
stuff. Yeah. But I'm going to go a little bit back to Washington, but adult-wise. So I'm going to start out in 1974 is when I started, because that's really the first appearance. And so that's kind of where I'm going to begin. Mm-hmm. and go from there all the way through August 16th, 1975, and his first arrest.
Okay.
That is next week. We get into his kind of where his criminal career
Started.
begins to be documented. So thanks for watching.
Yeah, thanks for watching. Yeah, so we'll see you guys next week. Next Wednesday, we'll be back with Hillary's episode.
And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, all the things. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.